Is Flinders Street Station today in the 3MBS radio station. So we've got our final and favourite, Kate Herbert. Kate is in to talk to us about all different things. So Kate, hello.
Hello, good morning on this miserable morning outside.
It is. We had a track about being purple. Just
and
for
we're
you.
both purple.
We are today. So Kate, tell us all the stuff.
Well, all the stuff is, again, not a great deal. I've just been a bit limited in what I've been able to see. And I made one error in my calendar. I can't talk about Pride and Prejudice, the musical, because it doesn't actually open until Tuesday. I put in the preview date. So anyway, I will mention it. But I won't be able to
you've seen the preview?
No, I haven't seen it. It doesn't open until Tuesday, so I can't. What I mean is I'm not able to talk about it because I actually have not seen it. That was a long way to start by saying nothing.
Did you? One of the Dr. Chris Brown that came in before.
Yes, I heard.
And he loves Jane Austen.
Yes, I heard that.
Yeah,
too.
It's amazing.
And I have a particular soft spot for Austen because I always feel that I started my obsession with it started long before she started to hit the screens and etc. But when I was about 16.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me talk about what I would describe as a community project that has now taken to other theatres. Let me tell you what it is. It's called Sea Wolves Howl, as in SEA, the sea, and wolves as in howl. And it's a show that was created down at the Mornington Peninsula by a group. I'm sorry, I don't know the name of that group, and I should know because I know some people in it. They've created a theatre piece based on these women who call themselves the Sea Wolves.
Oh, yes.
So they're women who swim. It started apparently during COVID when, according to what we see on the stage, which is based on their stories, a couple of women decided that they wanted to try cold water swimming in the mornings early and slowly, quickly actually, over a few months. It grew from, a couple of people to a dozen people to a lot of women, all women, and mostly older women, going down to the water in the bay, holding hands, howling like wolves, and then walking into the sea to swim. And it's a bit different from the Icebergers, who are a bit more serious about it, I think. So that is the basis of the stories. This piece is written by Carol Paciullo, disclaimer here, friend of mine, and we worked as a comedy duo for a number of years. So Carol is one of the writers and a performer. Jane Bailey, also performer, singer and co-writer, and Yoni Pryor, who was co-writer but also the director of this project. And as I said, based on the stories. So my understanding is it's not verbatim, so it's not word for word people's recorded versions of their experiences. It's based on their stories. 5 characters. There are a couple of other women in it as well, and a non-binary young person and a musician. So last year, or 2024, I think it started. Now it's on a tour to various places. So I haven't got all the dates. You might have them. Do you have some of them?
looking there. It's like
I saw it last weekend at the Round out at Nunawading. I think that was the beginning of their tour. It's going to Carolika at Ringwood. It's going to Frankston. It's going
Frankston
to
Arts, Kingston Arts, Yarra Ranges Council. In October this year, they're going to Geelong in October this year. Phillip Island. Yeah, so
it's regional as well as edges of Melbourne, suburbs of Melbourne. The thing that's different, I'll talk about the show in a moment. I know we've got a bit of time, so I can talk a little bit about this. It's now been moved into much larger theatres than it was designed for, so they've had to redesign how it's staged. And also, the auditorium at the Round is quite big. I think it's about 500 seats. There were probably 200 people there, but that meant it was a bit scattered. Now, I'll get to the show itself. So I'd call it a warm and cosy show that's, despite it being about people diving into the freezing, chilly waters of the bay. So these 5 women, these 5 characters represent, a representative of who goes to this group and goes swimming in the morning. They hold hands, they dive in. So we see them arriving one by one, and the tentative, the sort of trepidation of not only going into the water, but joining a group and being with people they don't know and responding to someone who, said to them, why don't you come? And thinking, my life's a bit uncomfortable and I've been divorced or I've been ill. And one of the things that the play talks about, or the production talks about, is the health benefits of cold water swimming. And I know there's all sorts of things about, jumping into ice water and cryogenics, etc. But this is about the sense of belonging as much as the cold water healing itself. So the stories, as they unfold, each woman tells little monologues about their own experience, and then little monologues about what they do and what it feels like to dive into the group, what it feels like to be with the group, dive into the water and dive into the group, I suppose, is what it's about. And so it's quite heartening. What's unusual about it as a production or a play, I don't think I'd call it a play as such. It doesn't have a beginning, middle and end because it's episodic. It tells these people's stories. There are songs. Sorry, I left that out. Songs written by John Thorne, played by a single musician, and they're all about the same content. I've Got Your Back is one of them. It's just about them looking after each other. So it's joyful. It's also got some poignant moments when they talk about things about their lives. But as I say, it doesn't have a dramatic shape. It doesn't have a beginning, middle
life.
and end.
It's life.
It's about life, their lives, and about experience. And I see it as a community theatre piece. I didn't talk to them about that, if that's the way they describe it, but it's come out of that community down on the peninsula. So there are all sorts of things about community theatre, and I know you work in music in the community a lot. We can talk about that. For me, having done it for a long time with young people and with people of particular groups, like a group of boys in detention at Parkville with my students creating a show, women from a factory in Wangaratta, all sorts of different things. It can be done as the community members performing their own story, which has been written by the professionals creating a story and then performing it with people who are not part of the project, for the community, by the community, about the community. There's all sorts of different ways of doing it. How does that compare with you and the music community?
Yeah, I think it's the leaning in is when you get community. Yeah. And it's like what I've said, kind of becoming a bit of a catch cry. It's getting the parents back into the kitchen, not the mums back into the kitchen, the parents back into the kitchen. Yeah. Because when we were growing up, everyone volunteered because there wasn't anything else to do. There was no screen, so you had to leave your house because you were bored. And the parents went with you, and because someone had to make the lunches and someone had to your little aths and all the rest of it. And then everything got outsourced, so parents dropped off the kids, and then community fell apart. And now it's like we're getting parents back into the kitchen, and that's when it all starts gelling together because the parents see the value of what you're doing with their kids. Yeah. But it also it spreads out amongst everyone else.
Yes.
And those kids are happier because they have more people around them.
So the experience is not just theirs and their friends, it's their parents, etc.
Yeah.
So that's various things about theatre and community, arts in the community. I did a lot of things. I volunteered one year for the first big West festival, which is called something else now, over at Footscray. Yeah. Big projects. I'll talk about that another time. I want to quickly mention something I've not seen, but I've seen the photos because my husband took these beautiful photos of this production called Corporare. Corporare and subtitle Evan Task in Outer Space. If that sounds a little bit like a famous trillionaire, there's a reason for that. So on no or low budget, Matthew Crosby and his creative partner and director Tessa Luminati have created this show about this guy, Evan Task, who's a billionaire, going into space by himself and what he encounters. But on no budget, they can represent or have represented not only the spacesuit and the spaceship, but space itself and the surface of Mars. Beautiful lighting from the photos I've seen. As I say, I haven't seen the actual show, so I'm not reviewing it, I'm telling you about it.
So when's that on?
That is on at the moment at the Explosives Factory, which is one of TheatreWorks venues down at Inkerman Street, St Kilda, until the 27th. So you've got until next week. That is the Saturday, I think, 27th. And is it 27th? I think that's right. And I think it's worth a look because people generally don't see these shows that are not publicised a great deal.
Thanks very much, Kate.